Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist Aiden's weather forecast here, and welcome back to another update, guys. And as you can tell, we are going to be doing another update on Hurricane Dorian. It's very close from possibly bringing hurricane force winds there all the way from South Carolina, even North Carolina. It has moved away from Florida and Georgia, so they should be in the clear for now, and they should be in the clear in general. But we still have a threat from South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, is where we could have tropical storm to hurricane force winds, guys. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, guys. It really means a lot. Be sure to like the video, and if you still have any questions or concerns on the system, be free to leave them in the comments below. So, guys, without further ado, let's get in the video. So, we are going to be looking at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook here. NOAA that helps us show the systems, and I know we have a lot of systems here, but we're going to be focusing on Dorian because this is the major topic in the Atlantic and actually in general right now in the tropics. So here it is at maximum sustained winds are at 95 knots, so it's at 110 miles per hour. It actually strengthened to 115 miles per hour to a category 3 because it went some warmer waters there, but now it's getting very close to inland, so it is starting to weaken a little bit. The central pressure has gone down, though. It was at 961 last time we checked, but now it's at 958, so that has gone down just a little bit. And again, it's still moving at northeast at 8 miles per hour, so again, it has actually gone a lot more speed since it stalled over the Bahamas and parts of Florida. So that's basically what we're looking at here in Dorian. Now we're looking at the satellite imagery here. If it's not moving for some reason, but again, here we have it going over. There we go. Now it's moving. I thought it was frozen for a second. So here it is. We have a little bit slower rotation wise. We are seeing a bit slower rotation, but not a movement. So again, here we have the vorticity going over parts of South Carolina and even North Carolina. No wind issues from Georgia, really. If you're north of Myrtle Beach, that's where we could have the strongest winds in those areas. If you're south of Charleston, really, you shouldn't have too many threats right now because it is moved north a little bit. But look how close the eye is. Just look how close it is. We're having the possibly the strongest winds just off the coast of South Carolina. So it's a really huge threat how close his eye is. And the eye is getting a bit disorganized. As you can tell, we are becoming different shapes, and it's a bit slower, this eye. And again, the eye wall, it actually is starting to get a bit disorganized too. We are starting to see some lighter winds. That was where we should have the strongest winds. So it looks like we have the strongest winds on the western part, or sorry, the eastern part, and that looks like it could come around for that second time, possibly bringing the worst winds out here for Myrtle Beach and Wilmington. Again, we are starting to see tropical storm force winds spread out all the way to Raleigh. Some possibly tropical storm wind gusts there, Myrtle Beach, all those areas in northern South or the eastern coast, northeastern coast of South Carolina. That's where we have these huge threats here. So now we looked at that. Let's now look at, again, we are seeing this rotation, but it's very slow, but we are seeing vorticity. Before we move on, we are still having these outer bands. They're actually very organized, these bands, which also bring in a lot of rain for Georgia, even Jacksonville, and then all come around and hit the parts of all the way to Kitty Hawk. So now we're going to be looking at the cone and timing. Again, this is where we have huge threats and actually a lot of new updates right now. So we do have, again, we do not, so now northern Florida and southern Georgia, we do not have any more tropical storm warnings or hurricane watches. So now southern Georgia, you're in the clear, and all Florida, you guys are on the clear. That's probably a good thing to say for those people who are over there. But the only thing is, we are seeing these threats move a bit more north. So again, we have hurricane warnings in effect all the way from Virginia Beach, Virginia, all the way to Savannah, Georgia. We are still seeing hurricane warnings in effect for Savannah, Georgia, because we are still seeing those outer bands starting to bring in some very strong winds. Because again, it's not super north of Savannah. It's right here, so it's not too far off. Again, and they did get hurricane force winds yesterday, but again, we could see these peak up a little bit closer than other areas. So here you have these tropical storm force winds areas. Again, we are having tropical storm force winds for Wilmington and for South Carolina, and we are having this hurricane force winds actually just off the coast. So again, guys, we are seeing huge threats for the areas out here in South Carolina that have these tornado threats. And yeah, we could potentially have landfall near the Kitty Hawk area, which would be a huge threat. we do actually now have tropical storm watch in effect for Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Actually, no, just Massachusetts. So that's been a long time since we've had those out there in the Massachusetts area. And then we do have tropical storm warnings out there near the Richmond area, and also for southern Delaware and Maryland, where we do have these tropical storm warnings. So again, we just need to watch out the system. Within the next 3 days, it should be all the way in the Nova Scotia area. So again, it's going to be very, very fast moving from now on. So we just really have to wait just a little bit more to see exactly if it's going to be moving faster or slower at this rate or at this time. So here we have all the track guidance on the eyes. This is for the eye, not the cone. And again, we have these possibly affecting the North Carolina coast. We have a very, very close call on landfall. I really think we'll have this very not huge direct hit, obviously, like Florence, but I think we could have possibly maybe a skin of the islands of North Carolina, so it won't be incredibly all the way in there in North Carolina. And then we're also basically, this is the cone for the eyes, not the cone in general. This is where we could see possibly the eye going over. So again, we shouldn't really see the eye go too much in North Carolina if it does whatsoever. And then if you guys are in the Nova Scotia area and all that, you guys might have to worry about possibly having a direct landfall as a Category 1. Again, within the next 3 days, it'll be all the way over here, guys. So again, and it's going to get very, very close to Greenland too. So it's going to be hitting some areas that usually don't get a hit like this, and possibly even hitting the UK. So you just need to exactly wait and see if it's going to get closer to North Carolina, if it's going to get closer to the New England area too. So that's also we have to wait. So we are going to be looking at the intensity guidance now to see if it can be strengthening any point. We do have a couple models that do say possibly. Here we have it again. Within the next couple hours, we should have it weakening. And then we have those couple models that do go back to Category 3. So again, it's a matter of time to maybe another 24 hours. We should have a better idea what's to happen. But again, there is a possibility possibly maybe strengthening just a bit. Not a whole lot. It could only strengthen maybe like 5 or 10 miles per hour, which could do a huge difference. But again, we should possibly have a Category 2 or Category 1 within the next 12 to 36 hours if it does not strengthen. But again, there's still that threat where it does strengthen. If it does strengthen, we could have it go to Category 1 within the next 72 to 84 hours. So it's a huge gap in time here. And then again, all the way from within the next 24 hours to 72 hours, we should be seeing weakening. Again, we could see Category 1, and then by the time it hits Nova Scotia area is where we have it being a tropical storm in those areas where we have 2 landfalls on Nova Scotia. Again, we have this area and then the other area near Oak Island, and then all the way into the other area, Nova Scotia, on the eastern part. So now we're going to be looking at the winds here. Again, this video is not going to be too long. Obviously, it's going to be around 11-12 minutes because we've been going through this a whole lot. But again, we will be seeing a bit more wind stretching it become a bit more widespread into South Carolina, North Carolina. So here we have it bringing possibly Category 1 force winds out there into Charleston, about 80 knots possible. Again, we'll still be seeing very strong winds all the way to Augusta, to Savannah areas, all the way to Wilmington. We'll be seeing tropical storm force winds. As we continue, we could see possibly, again, maybe even 90 knots north of Myrtle Beach. I always say Myrtle Bay. And then again, we could have a potential eye landfall. It's basically what it's looking like. We could be very, very close call. Raleigh, you guys will be seeing about 50 knots. So Raleigh would most definitely be seeing huge threats with tropical storm force winds. And then again, we could have those tropical storm force winds there out there in Massachusetts, about 42 knots, something like that around. It's looking like it could intensify once it gets closer to Canada. And then it looks like it could make landfall in Nova Scotia with about maybe 90 to possibly even 100 knots. It's going to be a huge threat for the Nova Scotia area. And after the last thing we're going to be looking at here, this is the last thing we'll be looking at, is the radar. So we'll be able to be seeing this right here. It's going to be, again, very, very big in size. And actually switch colors here. Again, it's going to be possibly moving a bit more higher into central pressure. It should go up, and then it looks like the GFS is kind of showing it maybe getting a bit closer to North Carolina based on yesterday's update. So without a doubt, no matter where it goes, we're going to be seeing incredibly heavy rain near the Kitty Hawk area, Raleigh, Virginia Beach, Wilmington is where we see incredibly heavy rain, and then we'll have that second area in the United States there in Maine and Massachusetts is where we can have that second area. Now I actually want to go back here. Let's look at rainfall. Total accumulated precip, so you guys expect to see exactly how much to expect rainfall wise. Let me move this right here for you guys can see. So basically by all the way to Fridays, where we'll be next Friday. So this is actually way after Dorian here, but again, here we have this. It's looking like it's going to bring a bit less rain. We are going to be seeing about, again, additionally 8 to 9 inches, but again, we had a lot more still in the ground there. And then we could see a bit more rain near the Kitty Hawk area. Could expect maybe even 10 to 12 inches. So again, even Raleigh, you guys will be seeing a good amount of rain. And again, we'll be seeing a good amount of rain there in Nova Scotia too. But if you're even the New England area, you guys can possibly see less than an inch. So not much to worry about rainfall-wise in the Northeast. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, and bye.